hi, diddly-do there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey there, hi, diddly-do there. Wait, are we on right now? I think we're on. Alright now, what am I gonna do for today? Alright. I'm gonna read lore on, one of the class 12B students, yeah. Alright, there's 20 of them so far, so I'm gonna do them like one at a time, okay? Just to, be clear. Alright, the first one is Dust Bunny. Alright, now, are you ready? Alright, this one's gonna be a fun one, alright. Real name, Angora Benz. Dust Bunny. They were a cute bunny-like entity covered in allergic dust bunnies, and are a dark pollutant, which are often hostile, artificially made elemental spirits that are born of pollution and filth, and are seen as dirty and filthy by many, despite some of them wanting to do their best to get along with human beings. With her in particular being born of clumps of dust that became sentient. At first, her abilities are making small bunny-like constructs or hurling balls of dust, which aren't terribly strong, and the instructor at the exam where she was, meant to demonstrate her powers, saw that she had more control over the constructs, and the worst she could do was trigger allergies, which she often did due to the fact that she sheds dust much to her shame. It was due to a mix of her perceived weakness and her nature that she was sent to the sword class 12B. Worse, other dark pollutants are assembled in a hostile faction that often does attack the city of St. John under the dark pollutant leader Contagion, who was currently being an insurgent force on not just Earth-Eyes human plane, which is Terra, but also on the elemental world, where as well as due to but also on the elemental world as well, due to Contagion wanting to turn the elemental world and Earth into a polluted hellscape, so that them and the dark pollutants could live and thrive, since they kind of need pollution to survive. And she often gets something with them, despite wanting to get along with humans in a peaceful, kind, and respectful manner, and she wants to show that dark pollutants can be accepted as humanity's children, much like the Tulpas are. How am I doing? I'm doing good today. Oh, thank you for being here, Dwarf Gator. I'm glad you're here. Alright now. And one of the characters is a bully towards her, has fire-based abilities, which is one of her weaknesses. At first. Yeah, since dust is, very flammable. Unfortunately. At least many forms of dust are very flammable. That flower is technically a form of dust, and it's very flammable. And very dangerous when it gets flammable. She was also bullied due to her unintentionally irritating people with her powers by her presence, and treated as a nuisance because of it. And she didn't want to fight back because due to wanting to be the bigger person, not wanting people to see her as a dirty, evil monster as well, and also due to her lack of confidence. Due to her legacy and the expectations of others and the pressures on her against her and by her own mind. Amani, however, didn't treat her like a monster, despite the fact that in the past she had her own differences and conflicts with the dark pollutants. Obviously Contagion is a supervillain. Due to the fact that Dust Bunny was trying to do what was right. And Amani worked with her to start off by helping to control the dust generation, to control her allergenic powers, and to help develop abilities to grow more and more powerful later on, including controlling different forms of dust and dust-like materials, making stronger constructs with them, making them into powerful allergenic blasts, and even making her own dust bunnies, dust bunny constructs actually pretty scary and dangerous, and using dust to fly and blind enemies, as well as command and manipulate other types of dust, including wood, glass, metal, and even organic dust like flour and pollen. Oh, wouldn't... Alright, yeah. I did mention flour earlier. Alright now, and control her, as well as, help control her constructs, because she had more control over them earlier. And control small land-based trash that gets clumped up into dust and its properties, and do various techniques based on her dust properties, as well as being able to send them into solid, more threatening constructs in both terms of weapons, magic arts, and creatures. And she also goes on, and she also later went on to go and stand up to Contagion, as well as as well as defeat him during his assaults on Earth, on Terra, and aid with the cleanup, as well as dealing with control agents who tried to attack and deport her due to her lineage as a dark pollutant. And she also managed to help the neglected object spirits, negotiate for peace after the object world arc, after they survive, being on the side of Carbine's conflict with everybody else there, since they were survivors of that conflict. And she also managed to make a space for dark pollutants in the monster kingdom, and was able to get Arachne, the Dark Lord, to help out with that, in order to give them the way to find peace without hurting anyone. And she also became a hero to many of her people, yeah, which also managed to impress the elemental lords, who are the pure elemental spirits, and led to them setting aside their differences after Contagion's conflict with them in their world. And yeah. And she does have a weakness to fire, which I mentioned earlier, but she also has a weakness to, wind element arts, as well as cleaning supplies, because, like vacuum cleaners and, certain cleaning supplies are very dangerous to test, obviously. As well as fire. Anyway, what did you guys think of that one? I personally took the name of, Angora bins, to be like, dustbin, as well as, Angora bunnies. Yeah, she does have a kind of cute appearance, and, is kind of smallish. And I kind of based her personality a little bit on, Cyrus. Yeah, you guys ever seen, the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX? Yeah, Cyrus is a character that does suffer from confidence issues. Of course, Angora bins here, being a dark pollutant, which is, basically an artificially made elemental spirit that's, that, many people see as hostile, just doesn't really help with that, unfortunately. Anyway, how did you guys like that? Don't forget to tell me in the comments below, and also don't forget to like and subscribe for more hyperlink blocks. And also, if you subscribe, you're giving me your name, and send some affair, you know what I'm gonna do with that. I'm gonna give you love and attention and praise, and head pats, and never ever let you go. Yeah, you're not allowed to leave. Anyway, goodbye. Alright, let's go look for somebody to raid, yeah. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it a lot. Oh, Rayona's on. Alright, let's go. Whoops. Go raid Rayona _ Alright, and thank you for being here, Dwarf Gator. I appreciate that. Alright, whoops. Oh, well, whoops. I guess I'm a little frozen right now, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah, alright, see you later. See you for next time. And I'm a little frozen right now, so... Oh well. I'm raiding off anyway, so... And back raid. See you later, goodbye.